Hello guys, and welcome back to Rise of Prussia with our campaign here of the Second Silesian War. As you see, it's early December, and this right here is easily going to be, or already is, the hardest turn we've had so far. We've been pretty much unopposed, marching down through parts of Saxony, taking Prague and all these other cities, marching down through Silesia, which we took in the prior campaign, or at least parts of it, to these new targets. We have had some issues in the east, but the west has been, again, mostly unopposed. However, this winter seems to be working differently than it worked in the previous campaign, where there'd be snow in some areas, but not all, and not really in early December, but later. It would start to creep up from the south rather than appear all at once. This time, I was taken by surprise and it appeared all at once all over the map. Did not see that coming. In addition, we have a number of things like Austrians are running around behind our lines at the moment in small groups that, while they can't really do a lot, they can still be a nuisance. Such as this singular brigade here running around, taking Pirna camp from behind my back, and now sieging Dresden in the middle of the winter, mind you, and there's not a lot defending Dresden. And this is one of the locations we need to win the game, actually no, Torgau is not. But Saxony is still locked off from entering for the time being, and we do need it to open so we can capture Hal and win the game. But this has now opened up a very clear situation where we do need troops to go up here. Just get rid of this brigade right here. This army here is not set to become controllable for another 4 turns, however. So that's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that's 2 months from now, 4 turns from now. In a little over a month, I can take Leopold, who was just down here taking locations that I figured would help secure my flanks, in about a little over a month, so a little bit before this stack up here becomes usable. I can get Leopold up to Pirna camp and retaking it probably in no time flat. Getting to Dresden, on the other hand, as you see, is another couple days, but I do need to actually go into the offensive to take this in 1 turn, but I'm sure I can do that. I don't know if he'd actually succeed in taking Dresden. Again, it is the middle of the winter, so even though it's not well defended, he's not the strongest kind of group out here. It is a size 2 fort. It has plenty of supplies. It's not gonna run out. It would be difficult for him to pull it off. I'm not worried about it necessarily, but I do need to plug up this hole here and make sure I can catch any troops that are fucking around over here and causing me issues with both this stack and this stack. Hey, these are the 2 relatives. Their names both end with von Anhalt-Dessau, and their titles are both Prinz Leopold, but he's Erbprinz, I think. No, title Prinz Erbprinz Leopold, and he's Prinz Leopold. Not confusing at all, but they seem to be relatives. Last turn we did take Carlsbad, and we got a little fort battery here, which is going to be placed inside the city. Put that on sentry status so I don't have to worry about it. Frederick II did take it. As you see, Frederick II could use some relaxation, a chance to recover some supplies and all that jazz. I've pretty much been blitzkrieging with him. It's how I've accomplished taking all except one of the objectives that I have access to right now in so few turns. Like, we're not even halfway through this. We got most of these very early. The enemy's negative on victory points and just doing very poorly in general. I believe if the game were to end right now, based on the fact that I have all the strategic towns I need, I have so many objective towns, my victory points are amazing. Look at my kill-death ratio here. I would definitely win. Their morale is garbage. It's slowly recovering, but it's garbage. It's been a very successful blitzkrieg so far. However, Frederick needs some time to rest, so I'm going to stick him into Carlsbad because I believe, let's see, variation 2.34 a day. Stick him in there. Variation 4.69 a day. I don't think passive will help. No, 3.12. It's weird. Passive doesn't work very well when you're inside the location. May just be this game, but his power is currently at 3,100. I know it can go up towards 4,000 when everyone's rested, and they should definitely get rested real quick right now. What I want to do with Frederick is take Eger, which right now he would be silly to attack. It's the middle of winter, the pass is blocked by heavy snowfall. He'd suffer some penalties, and he's just not up to snuff. He could still probably win, but there would be excessive casualties. That was my goal, was to take this to kind of just block off this area while staying next to Saxony once the time comes to, well, attack it. On the other hand, if you go east, we've actually been besieging Brunn for a while to no effect because we keep getting attacked by this unit up here. However, now is kind of a now or never point. It's the middle of winter. We're going to suffer a debuff upon attacking now anyway. We are running very low on ammo, food. We need to get access to the depot here, to the production of supplies available in the city, because our supplies, as you see, are about to run out. And this man is not going to stop harassing us. It looks like his power is very nerfed. I don't think he's a very large threat. We still have almost 1800 power here. We need to attack before it's too late. Therefore, I'm going to assault. He will attack literally the first day of the turn, so none of these negative effects should have too much of a negative effect. The defenses here are minuscule. We have put a single hole in the fortress, but they quickly repaired it. But again, it's either now or never. We either run away or we take the location now, and I'm going to bet, a risky bet, that we can take over Brunn, gain access to its supplies, and then spend the next few turns recuperating inside of Brunn. Even if this group here does march south, I don't believe they can accomplish very much because they're not going to have access to any supplies. Their cohesion's already fucked up. Ours is buffed. Theirs is battered. It's the middle of winter. If they're running around in the middle of winter, especially entering territory that we have military control of, then they're going to be suffering some major debuffs, which I don't really think will gain them any advantage in the area. Over here, we have another new problem. I don't know where this army came from. There's a whole army made up of several brigades of Austrians over here, or at least Austrian aligned. And again, I don't know where it came from because you can't enter this region from off-map. The off-map entrances are down here. This is just nothing. He would have had to go through this when I couldn't see it, which I've been able to see it for a while in order to get here. So I really don't know how it happened. Because of this, and because he's right next to Katowice, I believe he may be trying to take it. However, I don't know. The winter may stop him. That being said, my nearest army is led by Kurt here. It's a very good army. It's very well rested, but it, as you can see, is missing some supplies, is missing some cohesion. I was going to send it south to assist in Brunn. If I want to do that this turn, it's just not going to happen. Whoa. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. 23 days on the fastest route. Taking the road is slower, 24 days, strangely enough. And coming over here to Katowice is 32 days. I don't know what's going to happen, so I want to keep him in a location where he can be available to respond to any threats for the time being. He's not on a tile with road, so a lot of his days of traveling are actually just getting onto a tile with road. It's over half a turn. He's going to travel to Olmutz. That way he can spend the rest of the turn recovering whatever cohesion, yada yada. Let me have him enter the structure upon arrival so he recovers it faster. This way he's ready to march south or east, wherever he's needed, because this winter feels like it's going to be pretty dug in. We've recruited some more reinforcements again, but they're probably going to disappear relatively quickly. We're going to take another elite infantry and toss it onto Berlin to get recruiting. And that's all I really have the resources for today, unless I start, looks like conscripts is probably my limiting factor, maybe money. Unless I start doing drafts or requisitions, I can't really do this any faster. That being said, I also can't really do this much faster just because, well, there's the limit of like elite infantry recruiting. I could recruit line infantry faster, but the elite infantry is already at a max cap set by the game, which I believe you can turn off, but it's probably better not to be turned off. With that being said, I think we have a nice full turn here. Let's move it over into late December. We should only have one battle unless the Austrians choose to attack, which hopefully goes... Oh, yeah, he's on the move. We are going to have another battle, that's for sure. The assault's beginning. Wow, that's the slowest assault I've seen. Okay. Whew, what has happened here? So that battle went weird. We won, that's the good news. And we didn't suffer any excessive losses. As you see, we took about the same amount of hits as we dealt, which is a good result considering we had, I wonder if I can see it here, but we had, here we go, 45% of our units had ammo. We had so little ammo we couldn't even provide ammunition to all of our troops during this battle. So the fact that we only took slightly, like 1 less hit than we dealt, is an amazing result, especially considering that all of their units were entrenched. 2 militias and 4, oh shit, heavy artillery elements, which I believe we've captured now. We've at least captured some of it. We completely killed the militia. I don't see any completely dead fort battery elements, so we should have captured them, which is good. The city is ours. We will now be producing supply, and we will be able to recover here, which is very important, especially considering it looks like this army is once again headed south to try to challenge us yet again. I don't even know if he's trying to challenge us or he's trying to escape down south and his pathfinding sucks, but it feels like he's trying to challenge us because we're on an objective. Let's proceed along with the turn. Oh man. Okay, he's moved down to Pirna camp up in the northwest. We have more enemies appearing. Oh man. Okay, so he has come down here. We were still in the assault when this happened, I believe. I don't think it gives you that information anywhere. It gives you like the rundown of what units were doing and when they decided to do things, but it doesn't tell you what stance they were in, I believe. Okay, no, maybe this. Defensive posture. So maybe it forces a defensive posture after an assault until you get out of it. Unfortunately, these fort batteries here were in a passive posture because, well, it's we just took them and they tend to do that to recover better. So they were not ready for battle. Doesn't look like they suffered any real damage. In fact, looks like the only real damage suffered was by the enemy. We only lost 174 units, men, that is, and 17 horses. That is nothing. We took a total of, let's take a look, 10 hits, dealt 64. The amount of enemy elements that were lost is insane. It actually puts that last battle to shame, because even though less units overall were lost, only about 1,000 men and 88 horses, they have far less men now to start with. Therefore, this is actually a very good result. We've taken plenty of prisoners, getting war supply. You can see our ammo is still struggling, yet we got such an amazing result. None of our units routed. We were already heavily entrenched, and the enemy's routed in mass. So let's close this window. He's run back up to the north again. This is just going to repeat. And it looks like we've gotten through the entire turn. Okay. And now, all of a sudden, late December, all the snow is gone. That is really strange. But that's technically good for us. For example, Leopold here is now going to move a lot faster. I don't know where this enemy unit is. I don't know if he's going to stay in Pirna camp or he's going to run south to get out of there as quickly as possible. But I'm going to go retake Pirna camp with Leopold just in case, because as it stands, he's not needed anywhere else. Let me show you the situation we're in now, because it's actually really good. We now own every single objective city except Hal. We do not have the ability to enter here yet. We've accomplished our objectives. There is nothing that we need to do, but we could, if we want to, go after the remaining strategic cities. Now, this is going to be a lot harder to do, and this isn't going to be really necessary. All I realistically need to do to win at this point is hold the objective cities that are flashing blue right now, as you see, until Saxony opens up and I can take Hal, which is another reason to just have some stacks nearby. I plan on leaving this stack when it opens up, just in the area in general, to go rush and take Hal the moment I can. So Leopold may get sent south again for all I know, really. But for now, he's not needed in the south. He could do stuff there, but I'd rather him secure the only remaining critical objective that I have than waste his time running around trying to take objectives that I may not even need. If we take a look, the Austrian morale is now down to 27. This is the lowest it has been all game. Their income of victory points is down to 6. They have negative 28. I believe as it stands, they are literally incapable of doing any more requisitions or drafting from this point onwards without actually, forcing themselves to stay in the negative. I don't really know what happens when you're in the negative for victory points. I don't know if that has an effect. Maybe I should look that up. So I looked at the manual, and apparently at the end of a scenario, the one that has the most victory points is declared the winner, which is weird to me because this game also has a stalemate screen. So I'm not quite sure how, why, where that works. Let's get Kurt out of this fortress. Looks like his stack is up to par where it needs to be. Actually, he's lacking some supplies. I believe Olmutz, yeah. Olmutz is one of these locations where they burned down the depot as I took it, so he was recovering supply, but not as much as he could have. This Austrian force here is taking cover in the hills. They're making a fortified camp. This is something that costs money to do, as far as I understand. Yeah, a redoubt. This is what they're doing. Every time you see one of these fortified encampments show up, it takes 1 turn, and it costs 5 war supplies. So it's not crazy difficult to do, but they like to set these up. I don't know if they have some plan to go attack Katowice. I really don't know. As it stands, he's just kind of sitting here, not doing very much. Realistically, Kurt's army should be stronger than this army by all means. Not just because he has more artillery, but because he has more capability to hold more supplies. He has more units in general. He's the one I want driving south, not this army. First, though, I would need to get him down here before I could actually get away with doing that. So that would take a turn. So I believe I actually am going to send Kurt down south to replace Heinrich Karl Marwitz here. I will probably end up sending him northeast to maybe deal with this army. Doesn't look like this army's in a hurry to go anywhere, so I'm pretty okay with things as the way they stand. That being said, we do now need to get a unit inside of Brunn to make sure it's defended. So let's put the fort battery in there. Not make sure it's defended, sorry. Make sure it continues to count for our controlled objectives. I might just need to leave a whole brigade here to defend it, so long as this guy continues to make my life annoying, or hunt him down. I don't know. I don't want to take any units away from Kurt if I don't need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split some units out of Marwitz's force here. Marwitz's force is going to be made a little different now, I think. Yes, so we're going to split apart this one right here. Folks Brigade. Let's split that up. No, don't dismiss the corps. Split the units. Alright, so we have the Fusiliers. And these are pretty garbage from what I've seen. So we're going to toss one in to basically maintain the location. I'm also going to take one, and I'm going to target it on Kurt's army here, because I notice I have taken one away from him as well. And I'd like to fill that back in. He's also missing out on some regulars by the looks of it. Actually, he's missing out on 2 groups of Fusiliers. Maybe I should send 2. It would be weakening this army, but I don't necessarily care. Here, let's send him 2. And maybe we should send him some other stuff to fill in his current units, because I'm going to kind of turn him into my forward attack force at this point. So any brigades that we can fill in on him is going to make this easier and give me more leeway to use Marwitz for other purposes. So like we can send him 2 more regulars, for example. Now we want to make sure he still has a brigade, right? So what is this? 26 out of 32 folk. Let me give this back to you. What is it now? 28. Wow, that made it more expensive. That's kind of funny. So he has 3 unit spots available by the looks of it here. So what I'm going to do, I know exactly what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to split up Bredau's brigade here. I'm going to give him back his cavalry. I'm going to send these 2 elite units here, and they're going to fill in as such. I'm going to put 1 more in Zimmernau's brigade. I might put 2 and leave a regular there, actually. And then I'm going to put a regular over here, probably, and I'm going to send 1 more regular to fill that in as well. Let's see. Who has excess regulars? Both of you. So let's split you up, and then you can take back the stronger ones. That's fine. And then this one will join this group, and all these reinforcements will go join Kurt. Alright, so they're targeting him, and they'll meet up somewhere in the middle, and then I'll toss them all into one happy little force, where it should actually be the same required and provided command, which is good. If it spills over, I have enough leeway to pull a brigade out of here to make it work even better, at least a commander for that purpose. And then we can use Kurt's army as our driving force to try to take Vienna or Pressburg and the capital of Hungary, which, as you can see, they only have 40% military control of it because they keep using things like requisitions and drafts on it. Kind of counterproductive, especially if I'm going to invade it, at least for them. I could leave Marwitz here in the fortification if I really wanted to, so that he'd restore his supplies and etc. better. but because these units are going to be traveling, it's going to take them 12 days just to get here, which means this is probably where he'll meet up with Kurt's force here, because he is targeting him. Yeah, they'll probably meet up somewhere in here, and then they'll end the turn while over here. I want to make sure he's outside and ready to join a battle when this unit up here inevitably marches down south and tries to start another fight, basically. Frederick, on the other hand, is back up to snuff. His command's good. His power's over 4,000 again. It's ridiculous. So I think we're ready to move over to Eger. There's no point waiting. It's a size 2 fort, yeah, and they have 100 defending it, but Frederick's force is overwhelming in numbers. He could use more artillery, perhaps, but his forces are well trained. He has a lot of elite units here and plenty of regular units. His supplies could maybe use some work, but it's only a 6-day travel. We're going to take this over next turn. Just in case the winter comes back, we have a much more fortifiable location to sit in, because this is also in the mountains rather than sitting over here in Carlsbad. This, again, has a fort. This does not. This doesn't even have a depot. If it did, it was burned to the ground by the Austrians when we took it. Eger has a size 4 depot, which we could maybe use to replenish all of these supplies. And then we could just kind of hold this location for the time being, replenish, and see where the game brings us, see what we are capable of doing. I don't think we're going to send him towards Nuremberg or anything. If I did that, I'd probably send Leopold to do it instead rather than Frederick. He needs to be around Bohemia, where all the important objectives are. I was yet again correct that all of our replacements were used. What a surprise. I'm going to put another light infantry on the recruitment queue here. Let's toss him over into Frankfurt. This was like our main recruitment hub, I remember, during the last campaign. All of this stuff has opened up, though, which is really cool. And that's going to be it. We have no more decisions to make, really. And so with that, we're going to end our turn. There will inevitably be at least 1 or 2 battles based on how this has been going this turn. One of our assault, and if those Austrians move south... Oh, you saw that? Oh! This was entirely unexpected. A massive Austrian force has shown up. Another massive Austrian force has shown up. Frederick doesn't have nearly enough power for this. The battle is continuing. It looks like we're outnumbered 2-1. I don't know the quality of the Austrian forces, but there was definitely 2 major Austrian stacks placed right next to each other, right in or around, seemingly around Eger rather than in it. There was a large army that showed up with 2,386 power. Just chilling in here. It seems like they arrived right before the battle started, actually. Like, they weren't in here before, a whole column. But even then, they had twice the amount of units that we had. Twice the amount of fucking units we had. Although the battle didn't go as poorly as you might think it would. Almost none of them were fortified, meaning most of these troops reinforced from other locations, such as this fortified camp here. In total, they just lost 2 elements. We didn't lose any. Total overall losses, we lost 1,415 and 243 horses. They lost almost 5,000 men, almost 1,000 horses, and 10 cannons. Seems like we captured some cannons as well. We took 88 hits to their 286. So it is a Prussian victory. We didn't take the fortification, but we actually did win a victory here, which is really surprising. But it looks like the assault is continuing. I guess Frederick thinks he can win it. Oh boy. Oh, what's happening? Did some of them retreat? It looks like some retreated or just didn't get involved in this section of the battle. They're back. They're back. Man, I don't know what the hell's happening. They're not giving me all the information that I need to understand what's going on in this fight. But the fight is continuing, and oh my god. Okay. Another 1,000 men lost on our side, 261 horses. Another over 4,000 lost on their side, 400 horses. We took 62 hits to their 259. No elements lost this time, and they are doing much worse in terms of overall men being lost. Their entrenchment is improving, which is not exciting. Frederick's really going at it. I don't know if I regret giving him this order or not. I may regret it. But we're dealing a lot of damage. In fact, if we do end up winning this overall, this might do wonders for our national morale and destroying their national morale. Their numbers are dwindling, as are ours, but theirs are dwindling far faster than ours. We lost 804 men, 278 horses. Our losses are actually decreasing. They lost another over 4,000 men, 557 horses, and they are losing elements galore now. I mean, they have plenty. Don't get me wrong. They have plenty, and they have plenty more men, over 40,000 more men remaining. But even now that they have a full regular entrenchment rating as opposed to us just not having any, they have just lost a bunch of elements. Light infantry, line infantry, cavalry, more line infantry, yeah. We haven't lost any elements yet. This time we took 50 hits to their 250. The hits overall are reducing as this goes on. Okay, looks like Frederick finally decided to say that, you know what, maybe that battle just isn't worth it, and he pulled out of the fight. So let's take a look at exactly what happened now. So as it stands, I was correct. You know, we gained 3 national morale in all of those fights because we won all of them. Frederick simply decided to run away because he didn't see continuing the fight as worth it at a certain point, so he ran back to Carlsbad. That was a huge bloody fight, mainly for them, not necessarily for us, a lot of which can be recovered, restored, but for them it's going to take a lot of elements to do. They have Eger very fortified with very large armies in it and even around it, but I don't know where the majority of their forces came from. I'm not necessarily seeing them unless it is that 20 units there and their power is just a lot lower than Frederick's, which it may be because they probably put everything into one stack. I don't think Frederick actually even has 20 units. No. 1, 2, 3, actually no, it tells me 16 units, including 3 supply units. Our cohesion overall isn't looking the greatest. He was in passive for the rest of the turn, which helped him recover. Let's toss him back into Carlsbad. The winter's come. We can spend this turn recovering and recuperating. We did capture some of their fort battery, which is trying to retreat in order to get to another location. However, fort batteries move really, really slowly. So it's kind of stupid. I guess I'll just let it continue to move in passive. This unit will probably just be slaughtered. Either way, it's not my unit, it's their unit. I just stole it from them. Even if they steal it back, I'm not losing anything. Looks like Leopold here is about to arrive in Pirna camp, so we're going to set him on the assault. On the assault? What are you on? Why are you on passive? Stop it. No, sustained attack assault. We're going to take this back. The brigade, the enemy brigade, is actually held up in this location. It's only a size 1 fortified camp, so there's not much to worry about. Our army is well up to the task, even lacking cohesion. The winter may be a debuff, but again, it's just a single brigade, so I'm not really worried. The thing I'm most worried about is them destroying the depot when we do take it back. Other than that, they haven't done anything to harm us, really, that I can tell, by arriving at Dresden. I don't know if we owned this at any point, because this is actually cutting off our supply. I don't know if we owned it. I might be wrong, but they have cut off our supply to Pirna camp, so we are about to fix that. There's another 2 turns until this stack opens up, and boy, will that be a glorious moment. Our units have met up with Kurt, who unfortunately has deactivated this turn. So let's get this all organized. Let's give you a Fusilier, however the fuck you say it. Let's give you a Fusilier, and let's figure out how we're going to do the rest of this. So you, okay, no, I'm going to split what you have up. Zimmermau, is that your name? Zimmernau. Okay, let's split what you have up, Zimmernau. We will give you 3 elite units, and we will give you 1 regular unit. Let's take Winterfelt here, that's a cool name, and give him these 2 regular units. And now Kurt's army should be a lot more powerful. It doesn't even display its max power because he is lacking some cohesion and he is deactivated. But he's in a good spot. He's in a good place. So we're going to move him over here. Unfortunately, it's going to take literally over a turn to get him here, which sucks. Can I force march him there or something? I don't see it available, no. Because the leader's not activated, so he cannot force march. That's a shame. Well, that sucks. So I guess I'll just march him down this way and wait. Looks like this insurrection corps is besieging Katowice, and as it stands, Katowice doesn't stand a chance. Now, Brunn is in an interesting situation. Brunn is defended, and this unit up here is probably so dispersed and fucked up they can't take it. I could start sending Marwitz up north now in order to meet this group, or I could leave him here an extra turn to wait for Kurt. One way or another, Kurt is going to be here next turn. Kurt is going to be able to take this location. As it stands, it's going to take until, well, not next turn, but the turn after. It's going to take 10 days just to leave this location. This unit would be down here sooner than 10, I believe. Yeah, they'd attack sooner. So I think I'll start moving this group up to Olmutz. As it stands, they're not going to get a whole lot of supplies down here because Brunn, if it did have a depot, which I believe it did, I remember specifically saying it had a depot when I took it, doesn't have one anymore. The Austrians destroyed it at some point, either when we took the location or as they moved to attack it in one of the other prior turns. So the supplies over here aren't doing the best. As you can see in the supply, there's no stockpile of supplies here. As we get north to Olmutz and Tropau, you see supplies do start building up. We do need to go over here because we do need to stop this, so I will get Marwitz moving north to be a kind of peacekeeping force in the rear, and Kurt's moving forward to be a spearhead offensive kind of force. I will also tell Kurt to enter the structure upon arrival in case he does get there in time, and same thing here, because that just seems to be a good idea, because defensive upon arrival seems to eke out really great results for restoring their cohesion and supplies and such. I hope you guys are enjoying all the twists and turns that this campaign has. The last one didn't have nearly as many twists and turns. This is already a lot harder than the last one, even though it started out a lot easier. Thank you guys very much for watching though, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.